Today we're talking about 5 reasons, real, real reasons why theater is good for students. The first one is students that participate in theater and the arts in general have higher attendance rates than their peers who do not. And this gets back to something I talked about earlier, which is we get them in the building and we keep them there. If your school after school activities, if your theater is part of your after school activities, and after school activities like sports, etc., are tied to attendance, then that is a goal that students have and a carrot that teachers, parents, administrators put in front of kids to say, if you do this, then you can do this. If you're like us and you're actually a graded subject, then you don't necessarily have that carrot stick thing. You do. It's a little more complicated. But it builds the intrinsic value of them wanting to be there so that they can participate. And like any other teacher, we want our students to succeed across the board. We want them to be as successful in English, math, science, social studies, whatever classes that they're taking as they are with us. So it builds that team around a student to help them get to the finish line and be successful, not just get to the finish line, but know why they're getting there and what they're going to do after they leave. So that's one, attendance. Theater increases literacy. Just like music increases literacy, you are using that part of your brain. If you are in theater and you are reading scripts and you are, even if you're not an actor, where you are reading, analyzing, annotating, really digging into the script, if you are a technician, like me, you are reading the scripts, you are taking them apart, dissecting them for different reasons, but you are still reading those scripts and you are keeping up with those scripts. And you do it throughout the course of rehearsals, daily. When you're into tech rehearsals, you're doing it daily. You are following along to make sure that you are staying on top of your cues. If you do it for longer than a week, when I was working in professional theater, once you knew the show, you knew the show. You had your script. It was there. But once you knew it cold, you didn't go back and rely on it so much. You could literally have a conversation, stop in the middle of the conversation because you knew exactly where that cue was going to fall, and go and do your job. Sometimes students get that in a week. They're fast. They are. But by and large, they're following along in the script, which increases the time that they spend looking at the written word, which increases the reading comprehension. Just the mechanics of doing it helps them increase their literary skills, let alone the analysis involved in actually doing the work. So, literacy. 3, participation in theater increases empathy. It builds community. It helps people understand each other, again, because you're telling stories. And when you are involved in telling a story, you get inside the head of the characters that you're watching, the characters that you are portraying, and you can start to break down stereotypes, understand where other people are coming from through the art form. And that is something that we are sorely lacking right now in our students and our kids. And part of that is because of the pandemic, and they've been isolated, and they're coming out of that, and they don't have the people skills and the empathy skills that they need to advance, to work with others, to be the kind of people that we want them to be, and theater helps build that. 4, the College Board, the College Board tests. We've all, well, if you're an educator, you've heard it. But the College Board found that students with 4 years of fine arts classes actually do better on their SATs than their peers who don't have fine arts classes. Again, it's about the connections that are made in the brain when you are engaged in artistic activities. And that's not just theater. That's music, art, dance, anything that we put in that field of fine arts. All of those creative endeavors help to build the brain. And theater helps students understand scientific principles. So I have students that come to my class and they say, I can't do math. and I tell them it's not math, it's shop. Well, let's be honest, I'm lying to them. It is math, it is science, it's chemistry, it's physics, all of those things. We use them all the time in theater, in technical theater. You are putting those principles to practice every day in what we do. And when you do it in context, it makes so much more sense and you understand it better. There is also the process of analysis and discovery and creating a production is very similar. I shouldn't say very similar, but it mirrors in many ways a scientific process of asking questions, trying that out. Yes, that worked. No, it didn't. Okay, we're going to go back and we're going to change this. Do we get a different result? The process is very similar when you look at them that way, and that helps kids understand. They can take that, they can transpose it into their other classes. It gives them something to say, I understand this, and I can apply it here, which is what we want them to do. It's critical thinking. It helps bring all of those pieces together. So those are my 5 things. 5 reasons that theater really matters in schools. I've got to look at my list so I don't forget. Attendance, literacy, empathy, improved brain function for things like standardized tests, even though we kind of think those are bunk, and scientific principles made real. Thanks for listening. Have a great night.